What's going on, everybody? C4 here. Today we're continuing with our 32-team 7-round mock draft series with your reigning defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles at pick 32. Now we're a little under a week away from the start of the draft. This will not be my final Eagles mock draft. This is my Eagles mock draft where I'm drafting for every single team, and a lot of prospects that I like are going higher because it's my mock draft. So where a prospect say that I really would think would be a good fit for Philly would be there in the 4th round in real life, because I really like him, I might have him going late 3rd to a team that might need him kind of deal. So the final mock draft, which will probably come out the day before, so on Wednesday before the draft on Thursday night, might be a little bit better for you Eagle fans to watch because it might have some bigger players, because ultimately it's tough for me as an Eagle fan to do the 32 mock draft and have a good Eagles mock draft, because a lot of prospects that I think will be great fits for the Eagles, I just think will be great fits for other teams picking before them. So if I'm getting reaches or anything like that for players I really like, they're already gone for Philly, where if I just do an Eagles mock draft, that's the only type of basis for the video. Might be a little bit more popular names. But anyways, before we jump into this mock draft, we need to look at what they did via free agency and set up our board. So then what they lost: Torrey Smith got traded, great piece of business. Brent Celek got released, kind of annoying. Also kind of annoying that he wouldn't take a pay cut or just retire on top. I'm a little frustrated with that, to be honest with you. We lost Patrick Robinson to the Saints. Kind of stings a little bit, especially because there were reports that we're trying to re-sign him. Trey Burton went to the Chicago Bears. All well wishes there. He deserved to be a starter. Got paid like a starter. We lost Bo Allen to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Again, probably weren't going to be able to re-sign him. Good luck, Bucks. Same with Vinny Curry. We just released him. We tried, after trying to trade Vinny Curry for years, we were able to release him. Goes Tampa Bay. I mean, I hope both those guys do well. They're both very good contributors for our Eagles. And LeGarrette Blount left to the Lions. That was pretty much, always got to happen. Blount was not going to be on this roster next year. So, yeah. When we brought in, we got Daryl Worley here in the trade for Torrey Smith. He'll be good depth, special teams guy. We got linebacker Corey Nelson, which is, I think, might be the most interesting free agent. I called it. If you want to dig back, the video is still on my channel, where we signed Nigel Bradham. I said that is, no one cared about Nigel Bradham. He had one all-right year with the Bills, and he was just pretty much a depth guy on Buffalo. When we signed him, I said, low-key, he is going to be one of our best signings, and now, he's debatably our best linebacker. I'm getting that kind of feeling here from Corey Nelson. Corey Nelson, 1 year for Pro Football Focus, I think it was a year ago, was like a top 5 in coverage. I think that, when you see how our mock draft goes, I'm telling you right now, if you've paid attention, now that we're picking, all the good linebackers, our first-round linebackers, are out the board. Jefferson's gone, Van Der Esch, Rashaan Evans, Roquan Smith, Tremaine, all these guys are gone. Philly's not going linebacker. I think someone like Corey Nelson, if we can't grab that linebacker at 32, could be the sleeper. I'm going to tell you, just keep an eye on Corey Nelson. We're able to re-sign Nigel Bradham when everyone thought that was going to be utterly impossible. So that was excellent business. Brought in Haloti Ngata to replace Bo Allen. Long-term, not as good of a pick because Bo Allen definitely has more tread left on the tire. But in terms of a 1-year impact, I would rather Ngata than Bo Allen. We got Michael Bennett, I think. We don't know what's going on with the off-the-field thing that happened at the Texans Stadium. So that's still yet to be seen, but if he does come and play, my God, our D-line is absolutely terrifying. And we got Mike Wallace on the final, I don't know, it's setting in. It's finally setting in that we won the Super Bowl because we're getting a guy like Mike Wallace who had way better stats than Torrey Smith for half the price. Like, we're starting to get these vets that want to come in and try to win. The vets that want to come in and play with Carson Wentz. They want to play in Doug's offense. It's a great feeling, and this is only the beginning of that for the next, couple of years, this next window that we have. So that was a great fit. So now, it is time to jump into the mock draft, finally. 3 minutes into the damn video. So at pick 32, are the Philadelphia Eagles selecting safety Justin Reed from Stanford. Now, this was going to be a surprise. I think Bleeding Green Nation, and well, it's not really a surprise, but Bleeding Green Nation and a couple other people reported that the Philadelphia Eagles met him. This was before anyone even talked about Justin Reed coming to the Eagles, or even safety. I had him in my mock draft probably 3 or 4 days before this news leaked, and then I was like, oh man, it was going to be a surprise, it was going to be unique a little bit, I thought, and then this news broke, so then I showed everyone on Twitter that, trying to come off like a smart ass, that I kind of thought of this first. But ultimately, when you look at how Jim Schwartz runs in the nickel, like, we have a third safety on the field because Malcolm Jenkins will play up in that linebacker role, like 50% of the snaps. And the fact that we don't really have a third safety, I think best player available could be this, because the safety draft class tested insane at the combine. It's going to be very, very heavy. So from that standpoint, maybe going first round, we might be able to get better value in the 4th. But ultimately, a guy like Justin Reed, who tested out the park, his brother's Eric Reed, who's actually still looking for a job. And actually, I wouldn't rule out coming to Philadelphia, which would kind of, mess up this mock draft. But that third safety for the Jim Schwartz defense is as crucial as pretty much any other pick. I think a guy like Justin Reed, when you're looking for value, you know, might be best player available. Philadelphia reportedly high on him, and ultimately he is going to be able to make as big of an impact as probably any other position. We go tackle, they're probably not making an impact this year. We go linebacker, you know, maybe if we move on from Michael Kendricks, but as of right now, he's still on the roster. And like I said, you got Corey Nelson coming in, who I think could be a sleeper for some. So then what's one spot? Maybe wide receiver, maybe not now with Mike Wallace. That third safety, for me, is like the biggest spot that a rookie could get playing time, maybe with nickel corner as well. So I think Justin Reed at this 32 spot makes a lot of sense, and would be a home run pick here for the Eagles if no linebacker still available. Going to the 4th round, where you have 2 4th-round picks. First up at 130, I was selecting tight end Ian Thomas from Indiana. For me, he'll be tight end 2 on the roster behind Zach Ertz. I know they're trying to hoping that Billy Brown can kind of emerge into something. He is more of a wide receiver type guy, whereas, you know, Ian Thomas is a bigger tight end, not, you know, known for his run blocking, a little bit more of a receiver. Tested fairly well at the combine, looked really solid in the drills, and ultimately, I think, you know, tight end is a low-key need for the Eagles because, you know, Zach Ertz does tend to miss like 2 or 3 games a season, and we utilize a lot of 2 tight end sets, be it Brent Selleck coming in for like an extra offensive lineman, you know, maybe a little bit of a decoy there and sometimes catching a pass, or more importantly, how Trey Burton was utilized as tight end too, and in and out of the slot and stuff like that. I think a guy like Ian Thomas presents the kind of upside to fill that void a little bit if we want to make the investment here in the 4th round. And I think it's a really good value pickup here, and he might be higher on the Eagles' boards than most because tight end's a little bit of a position we want to get better at. Moving to the 4th round, 2nd pick, 132, I'm selecting linebacker from UCF, Shaquem Griffin. Yes, I was going with this pick all day long. It makes too much sense for the Philadelphia Eagles. Kind of doubling up, though. I'm going to be honest, when I do my other Eagles mock draft, it might change it up a little bit because it comes back to that third safety, third linebacker type role. I think Shaquem Griffin could play that. He was kind of coming in the combine as is he a DB? Is he a linebacker? I think ultimately he could be that. Now, how this works with my mock draft is because I think next year, going into the 2019 season, one of the 2 safeties are not going to be back. Because of the salary cap hit and stuff like that, I think either Malcolm Jenkins or Roddy McLeod are not going to be a member of this team. So that's where Justin Reed, kind of long-term planning, will take over as a starting safety. And then you get a guy like Shaquem Griffin, who presents really good linebacking depth this season behind, say, Jordan Hicks, behind, say, Nigel Bradham, Corey Nelson, but also can fill in that money backer third safety role. Whatever you want to play that position, have Malcolm Jenkins play safety and get a guy like Shaquem Griffin who's probably as explosive an athlete, maybe definitely a better athlete than Malcolm Jenkins is right now. He can do that. He can cover the linebackers. He can cover the James Whites of the world. He can cover the tight ends of the world. I just think for how Jim Schwartz runs this defense, I know a lot of people are saying Shaquem Griffin is going to a 3-4 team. I think he would be a perfect home run pick for the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, the only question is, don't reach for Shaquem Griffin. He does have, you know, everyone knows what makes him so popular is he has the handicap to him. I think that's going to struggle a little bit in terms of getting up blocks, which always was going to be something because he pretty much has been known as an edge rusher with his relentless work ethic and athletic ability, not so much, you know, getting dirty in the trenches and being able to get off blocks. So I think because of that, because, you know, I would say his ceiling is potentially limited. I'm pulling for him. He would be this. I would get a Shaquem Griffin instantly if we drafted him. Don't reach. If he's there in the 4th round, you grab him. Don't think I'd play a 3rd round pick for him. All right, moving on to the 5th round, pick 169. I have them taking offensive tackle Timon Parrish from Stony Brook. Looking at the roster, I think he could be offensive tackle number 4. Fill in as, you know, maybe the potential successor here for the god, the bodyguard, Jason Peters. When you look at Timon Parrish, I think a lot of people have him as a 4th, 5th round pick, so he's right in this area. But a lot of people just say he's a good physical specimen, has ability to play left and right, so he brings that versatility at 6'6", almost 6'7", 315 pounds, has some decent arm length, not spectacular, but put out 27 reps on the bench press, has a great frame, and all conference from a small school. I think ultimately when you look at him, he's a guy that has a high ceiling. He is a 4-year starter. He's coming in to a scenario where he's not going to have to play right away. You still would probably consider Big V as top depth at both left and right tackle, which is good versatility to have there. But kind of feel like ultimately, you know, if Big V is going to be our left tackle and they want to keep Lane Johnson at right, then, you know, I don't think Big V has done enough yet to say we don't need to worry about drafting a tackle. He is the future when Jason Peters moves on. I think adding a guy like Timon Parrish is just good flexibility, good swing tackle, and always, when life beyond Jason Peters is gone, which is going to be a very, very sad day. Paris can still be that very, very valuable swing tackle that the Philadelphia Eagles under Doug Peterson have utilized. Moving to the 6th round at pick 206, Iowa selecting wide receiver DAURICE Fountain from Northern Iowa. I think looking at the roster, could push in for that wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5 spot. Let's not get it twisted. Mike Wallace is a 1-year, not going to say band-aid, because I do think a lot of people believe Mack Hollins could take that step to be the next big deep threat. But what I'm thinking is a guy like Fountain, who is a combo. I think he's an inside-outside type wide receiver, can get it done on the outside. At his pro day, because he wasn't invited to the combine, at 6'1", 215, ran 4.46 40. Had a 42.5-inch vertical, which would have been the #1 vertical from the combine. And I think he would have had the best broad jump, too, at 11 feet 2 inches, which basically he had a better 40, or a better 40 than most of the prospects. Had a better vertical jump than DJ Chark. Had a better broad jump than DJ Moore. So I think in terms of like a spider chart, but if you don't know what that is, Google it. 5th, 6th round, good. I think it's worth the gamble. He had almost 1,000 yards, 12 TDs last year, MVP of everything East-West Shrine game. Philadelphia brought him in for a visit. I think wide receiver is a spot that we definitely want to try to look at addressing later in. And, you know, Philly on average, you usually can bring in 30 prospects in. Philly gets about 4 or 5 of those guys. They almost draft every single year. So I think Fountain, when I'm looking at needs, looking at just upside, how he can fill in, I think personally, this is something I'm not seeing a lot of Philadelphia Eagle fans talk about. Preparing for life beyond Nelson Agholor. Agholor sucked forever. Last year emerged as one of the best slot wide receivers in football. I don't think that when it's time for him to get paid, we might be able to get the 1-year option, or the 5th-year option because of the 1st-round draft pick. When he has to get paid, I can't see him stay on the roster, because that's the same time we're paying Carson Wentz, and I still think that we're going to be a little tight. I think Howie's definitely doing everything in his power to future plan to be able to afford whatever Carson Wentz is going to want, depending on the market. I just think that, you know, with that big contract, I think someone like Nelson Agholor might be surplus requirement. So working on getting another wide receiver that could take over in that slot role is something that's worth investing in this year. And I think Fountain could be that player, and Philly's clearly showing interest. The division up here in the 7th round pick, 250. I've had a mock to Philly pretty much every single time. Still makes sense. Punter, Johnny Townsend from Florida. I think he's better than Cam Johnston, who's, you know, practice. I don't even know if he's on the practice squad, but basically a guy that's spent time with Philly. I think Johnny Townsend is really, really close to Michael Dixon, who's regarded as the best punter in this year's draft class, the best punter in college football in quite some time. I say it as a Gator fan. I say it as Howie Roseman's a Gator fan, a Gator alumni. Townsend is the 2nd best punter in the draft. He's better than J.K. Scott. He might not get drafted as high, but for the Florida Gators, he was debatably our best player on offense for the last 2 years. And I think that for Philly, who's now looking for a new punter to take over for Johnny Jones, great fit, 7th round. Don't risk losing him and not being able to bring him in by undrafted free agent. Get a starter here in Townsend and get a punter for the next 10 years. Easy. So there you go, guys. That is my Philadelphia Eagles mock draft. I want to hear from you guys if you agree, disagree with any of the picks you saw today. Let me know in the comment section below. If you have your own Philadelphia Eagles mock draft, let me see. Maybe change my mind so when I do my final little Eagles mock draft that is in my own little world, maybe you guys have some picks that I think, yeah, you know what? That's actually a really, really good pick. Change my mind. Let me know. As always, if it's your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Smash the like button if you enjoyed. And until next time, it's C4 saying peace out.